Oh, let's see. So we're probably getting to a point now where we think we're ready to start making some decisions and moving forward on seeing what we can do about the scratch monster, I call it. So this is about the Brunswick site and kind of letting you know a little bit about what's there. Alan is on Zoom, and him and Michael have helped with some testing that we've done recently, and he can kind of give you some fill in on what he did. But I want to tell you about the, move this, I got to move around because I can't see. A little bit about the Brunswick site, 3 sets of coaxial antennas. There's a 700 foot, that's where the 8.2 is right now. It's a 900, it's a 900 foot run, 1 5/8" hard line. What appears to be a station master type antenna, which is usually just a collinear, multiple collinear, wired together with pieces of coax in a radome. What's that? At 500 feet, we've got the DMR repeater. It's a 600 foot run, 7/8" hard line. Yes, it's a little small, but it's what was given to us. It is a DB428 bay double folded dipole. Those are, I don't know, $3,000, $4,000 brand new, so it's a really nice antenna. And then we have the old 8.2 antenna at the same, and I'll show you a picture in a minute, it's the same place. It's a 700 foot run, 1 5/8" hard line, and it's a folded dipole. So we've got the new location, the old location, and the DMR repeater. So let's see if I can bump out of here. And yeah, so this is the 500 foot level. As you can see, down towards the bottom, there's what looks to be it's a platform. When the elevator was working, it would go up. You could take the elevator up to the 500 foot platform and step out onto it and work on the antennas. One of the previous guys at AI4TM used to be one of our trustees. He would go up there. So on the left, right here, that is the old 8.2 antenna, or the new old 8.2. And then right here is the DMR antenna. And yes, it has a little lean. We probably need to fix that if we don't replace the antenna.
What's it leaning?
On the basket,
In what direction?
it leans down to the south. So
Whether it leans down to the south or that, north.
yeah, it doesn't hurt anything. I just worry about sometimes the stability of it, but it works. At the 700 feet level is the 8.2 antenna. You can see there is no cross brace up at top. Sometimes they have those. This one does not. There's more of a picture of the base. You can kind of see what it is. So that's what they look like. Tom, where you at, Tom? Tom has more drones than I got HTs. He's a Part 107 pilot, so we went out there, and at least, you're still too far out to actually see, oh yeah, there's a problem right there, it's not taped right. We can't fly in close to the tower because there's enough RF, he loses control of his drone. So what we have to do is fly out about 150 feet, and
I didn't lose control of the drones, the video feed kept going off, and I had to reconnect.
yeah. So we moved out and zoomed in. The DJI has a 6x zoom, so that's why we got great shots. So we've got static, and what we've done, let's go back to presentation mode there. How do you get that back into presentation? Oh, there you go. So the 8.2 scratchy, and generally there's two reasons for that. An issue with the duplexer or an issue with the antenna or antenna feed system. So what we did back in, I think December, we took one Saturday and Michael had an extra set of duplexers. Because he's Michael and he doesn't pass anything up at a ham fest. I wish I had his smarts on buying things. So he got a set of duplexers, tuned them up, and brought them out, and we did a swap. And we still had the static. In talking with Ken Hunt, he still thinks it's the duplexer. Because that's generally what he finds in his world. But I think there's probably enough unknown on top. And so I don't remember what that is because I didn't see it when we did it.
So Michael has a few really fancy analyzers, and this one can measure SWR at each increment of the cable. And you've got a small jump here right where it starts the connection, and then it's great until you get up to 329 probably meters, so 700 feet, and then it spikes. So there's probably some kind of damage up at the top where it jumps to the antenna. So probably water, but the point is we don't want to do a $3,000 climb just to possibly fix damage in the cable. We want to do everything all at once.
So, yeah. Oh, question?
If it's a duplexer, it'd be the same problem on both when you switch to the other antenna? Is that what you ran into?
There is a problem with the other antenna.
Okay.
It doesn't work. If you sweep it with an analyzer, oh, it looks great. But if I hooked up an HT to it, keyed it up, and it's got like 5-to-1 SWR on it. And then you hook the antenna analyzer back up and sweep it again, and it's terrible. So, and I can't even...
Is the feed line that it's good?
Good question.
Change the antenna on that one? You're saying the other one, the feed line is damaged. What about this one?
Good question.
If the antenna's bad, you can change the antenna.
You want Alan? You want Alan?
Um,
Alan, did you hear the question?
Yeah, so Alan, the question is, can we fix the old 8.2? The antenna there is new, but we don't really know what the problem is there. That's kind of a weird issue.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so kind of going back to when we swim, we do what's called, we enter a velocity factor, and the analyzer that Michael has allows us to put in the size of the helix, and it automatically factors the velocity. And I think what it showed about 329 meters of them.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at the picture right now. So basically, and what you see, if y'all can see that picture, is your impedance mismatch, and it's at the very end, which leads to one of three possible things. You have a bad connector on the end of the heliax. You have a bad jumper, whether it be from water. It could be an LMR 400 jumper, which is a big no-no, or you could have a bad antenna. Without going up there and checking those, it's hard to say for sure. But the way that everything looks good until it gets towards the very end leads us to believe that the heliax is just, I don't think there's a problem with the heliax. And one of the biggest tests that we did was actually turning the transmitter on the repeater off. And we used Mr. Pete, who lives out in Widener, Arkansas. It's probably 60 miles away. Pete came in with 5 watts with everything in simplex, just using a repeater as a base station, crystal clear. Turn the transmitter back on, Pete was running 80 or 100 watts and couldn't even hardly open the switch. So, antenna problems are different between simplex and duplex. LMR 400 has dissimilar metals inside of that coax. Over time, that will corrode or get wet and corrode, and it creates diodes. And when it does it, it will never be a problem in simplex, but in duplex operations, it will be a problem. And antennas can act similar in duplex situations. But as far as that long run, the 700-foot run, or however long it is, because it's probably 800 by the time it goes out there, but yeah, I mean, to me, it's at the very end. And, you know, my thing is, you're paying $25,000 to $3,000 for a climb. You take a connector up there, you take a brand new jumper, and you take a new antenna, because do you want to risk paying another climb to go up there and say, oh, well, we didn't have this, or we didn't have that, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, and kind of what, along what Alan was saying, is with, you know, when you have your home antenna, you transmit or receive, but not both at the same time. But on a repeater, your receive antenna is the same as your transmit antenna. So what the transmitter does is it charges the field. So any problem in that field is magnified and usually comes out as static. Anything in that field, like a squeaky bracket or a loose piece of chain, or any problem with the connectors or the coax, or a loose solder joint on the collinear, any of those problems can cause your static. The other thing that I want to say, so the goal is to get the 8.2 fixed. The question too about what about the other antenna? Well, that's a good question. I've climbed up on Methodist North before and got things done in a few hours. Alan's got a lot of work done on his tower at 200 feet. At 700 feet, the problem takes a lot longer. And I think Rick Tillman there, I think you were on with Barry, just doing switching the antenna up to the 800 foot, and you were there till 10 o'clock at night, wasn't you?
Another question in this thing is 900 feet of feed line going to 700, and it's 200 after the tower.
Yes, that's why we have 300 meter, yes. What he says is 700 feet up, but it takes at least 200 feet to get from one end of the building to the other, because the 8.2 is at the other building. Yes, Joe?
Well, a couple of things. Want to just remind everybody, the DMR repeater is running an amp, so we're trying to overcome some of that. Not that that's pertinent to the 14682, but the other thing that I want to remind everybody is the TV tower that runs the primary tenant position of the tower has had their coax that's yay big around have arcing problems up and down their tower. So one of the things that we've got to do is, as we go up the tower, our tower climbers need to walk our coax up and inspect basically every foot, make sure that the TV transmission tower didn't burn our coax up. Because we haven't been able to do that. So it's one of the things, to Dan's point, of when we make a climb, we got a long list of things we're going to try to do on the climb. We just got to prioritize what's in the climb to get done.
Yeah, and I would like to replace everything up on top in one climb if I could, but I don't think that's gonna, I don't think he'll be able to do it all in one climb. We're going to lay out everything we want to do and the priority we want to do it, and then go talk to the climbers and say, hey, this is what we're wanting to do. How much of it do you think you can get done in one day? Because we don't want to buy 3 antennas when he says, hey, we can only get 1 antenna. And if nothing else, we'd like the antenna fixed. Maybe on the way down, can we put a dummy load on the old 8.2 and just check out the coax? So those are some things that we'd like to do.
So
Yeah.
what happens if they get to the 500-foot level and they start to see damage along that coax up to the next level? I mean, are we planning to have the ability to replace that entire feed line?
Probably.
The problems were about 300
Don't say that.
feet with the burn.
What was that, Joe?
The problem from the TV arcing out, Rick, wasn't it about 300 feet where it was?
Yeah.
It's been a while, I got the picture of the guy with his thing, he was about to turn into no joke
Yeah.
in his life.
I mean, there was a gap this big in the copper pipes going up.
Yeah, the feed line going up there.
Yeah,
You call it a feed line, but it's a rectangular tube going up there. It was pulled apart in one section. The arcing, set
yeah.
everything on fire up there.
At thousands and thousands of watts, feed line becomes like almost like a pipe, and it looks like pipe. It's connected with flanges that are bolted together, and they had a crack at the base of one of the flanges, and it was just spewing out RF. It was anything that was close by, the rubber got melted off of it. I think that what used to be Rock 103 had to switch to a backup coax on the tower.
There were 3 3-inch heliacs that were burned out, they had to replace.
There's a lot of heliacs on there, so it looks like ours is like closer to the corner and not towards the center. So it's possible that they do a visual inspection going up, but based on the chart we have there doesn't seem to be any, doesn't look to be any damage to it.
So 300, Pat, how far up is that 329? Is that nearly at the 700-foot mark and just right to the antennas where it's?
Yeah, it goes up to the 700 foot and stops, and then you have a jumper that takes you from the end of the heliacs over to the antenna.
So you see that anomaly basically at the very top?
Um,
The chart you were showing?
This is the end, and then it's like 9/10 of the way to the end.
yeah,
Can you patch it or something if you get up there and it's
we will see.
10 feet in the road?
It depends. It depends on where it is. If we think the damage, if we get up there and we say, oh, yeah, the end of the heliax is whacked, they can cut it off and run a longer jumper. That's not a crime. So, and then,
Are the climbers local?
No,
we typically use Wallace. I don't know much about Wallace.
I can speak a little bit on them.
Alan maybe knows a little bit more. There's Wallace. I don't know if they're the approved vertical bridge climbers or it's just the ones.
They are approved by Vertical Bridge.
I don't know if Vertical Bridge will let us use different climbers.
They will if they're approved by them.
Okay, so we may have to see if we want to use somebody else. We got to talk to them and then go talk to Vertical Bridge. Vertical Bridge is the landlord.
The past president of Crawley's Ridge Amateur Radio Club is personal friends with Wallace.
No.
The other options, I think Alan, your guy doesn't go all the way up to 700 feet. ComServe has a guy that lives up in Brighton, but it sounded like he cost a little bit more. He may cut us a deal, I don't know.
So Arco Scott with Arco Towers, I think is who Joe was talking about. Crawley's Ridge has used Wallace in a very similar situation on a 1,000-foot tower, and it was not good results. Everybody that I've ever talked to that's had to use Wallace, they must do really good for the TV and radio broadcast world, but for amateurs, I mean, they left a connector unplugged on an antenna and then wanted to charge. Basically, they paid the client twice for Wallace's mistake. You have to use Wallace, and my suggestion would be make them take pictures of everything they do.
Yeah.
I don't know how y'all's experience has been in the past, but I know you definitely want to get what you pay for, and especially when you have to spend that kind of money.
And then Dr. Flynn has a climber that we can talk to also. And then, like I say, your guy Alan, I don't think he climbs that high.
Which
I don't know.
we use several different climbers.
Okay.
So I've got. Can y'all see my screen here?
Yeah, tally.
Okay. So this is logged in with my account, and this is nothing. Y'all can create an account. I've got one, but so a BB224, brand new 4-bay VHF antenna, $1,440, and a BB411, which is a 4-bay 9 dB antenna. You're looking at $1,053. If you want, I can show you the price of a 420, but I don't think you want to see it. My suggestion is, if y'all choose to buy antennas, order them from Tally, drive to Kansas City and pick them up. Michael and I just went there weekend before last and picked up some. The shipping on that, we just bought one of these DB411s to replace one of our antennas, and they are under 30 pounds. The whole antenna is like 9 foot. I think the box maybe 10 foot. A month and a half ago, the quote was $700 for shipping. So it was a lot cheaper to drive, pay the high gas, even get a hotel room, and still save money. BB224s, when we bought ours 4 or 5 years ago, I think even back then the shipping on those was about $500 or $600 because the size of those, they're in 2 11-foot pieces, but the box and the pallet that it comes on weighs more than the antenna. It's awkward, so it's, I'd be scared to say it's probably $1,000 on a DB224 in shipping. And Kansas City's not a bad drive.
Their barbecue's okay.
It's not Memphis barbecue.
They have beef barbecue.
No, they don't.
Well, yeah, they have pork too. I tried the beef.
Well, when they climbed the tower to the 500 foot up there, they took pictures of, and they sent them all to the club. They got pictures of their connections they made.
Who has those?
Looks like he's got.
Who has them? We've been looking for them and can't find them.
I got some of them right here on my phone.
Fantastic.
Rick's probably got the biggest majority of them on his computer.
That jumper up there is a half-inch hard line.
And we got pictures of the jumper at the 500 foot, where it's connected to the
That would be
antenna.
awesome.
Huh?
We've been looking for those, so that we'll circle up and grab those.
Yeah, we can give you a,
a.
we can give you
Everybody
a,
that was out there that day got them.
yeah, we can give you a link to upload them
Guy
to.
talking about what he saw on the way up.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be excellent to review.
One other thing that I will mention, somewhere around for this, around for it, but a couple of years ago, there was a rumor that there was a TDR done, and there may have been a TDR done out at the site, but that there was a direct short at 200 or 300 foot. I believe that was the rumor, correct, Dan?
I
If
think
there was a
so.
direct short, nothing would ever work. So I ask that a lot of the stuff that you've heard in the past from certain people, just take it with a grain of salt. And Adam and Dan have both been there. I know John's been out there a couple times with us looking at stuff. And I don't do this for a living. Michael doesn't do it for a living. Michael's definitely very experienced in this, but everything that we have seen and everything that we have shown to everyone who does do these types of things for a living, the issue's up top somewhere. There's a possibility there could be a little spot in the helix, but kind of like Dan said, if you find a bad spot, cut it out, put a jumper in. I mean, in a perfect world, that's not the best thing, but we're amateurs at the end of the day, and I want to say inch and quarter is about $7 a foot, inch 5/8 is about $8 a foot, so it's pretty costly. Kind of got to make do with what we got.
We have some spare inch and 5/8 at the bottom of the tower.
Yeah. And you talked about replacing coax. And it's like you said, $8 a foot gets you 1,000 foot spool of it at $8,000. That's actually the cheap part. Paying that guy to put it up is probably just as much or more, because when they put those things up, there's a good bit of work to it. They ground it at the antenna, and they have to ground it every 250 feet. So they have to take the outside off, place a wire around it, clamp it to the antenna, and then wrap it back up.
With the stainless steel clamps on there.
Yep, and so they do that every 250 feet and before it enters the building. So, and then you got to strap all that up, and you got to get the stuff down. And I don't know if you saw it, it's a pretty wide, the tower's pretty wide, I don't know what, 10, 12 feet? 12 feet, and there's a ladder that goes up the middle, so you don't climb on the outside of the tower. So it's a lot of work to get something up there, but not impossible. Just,
They winch it up.
yeah.
If they were putting new coax, it'd be winched up.
Yeah, and what we also have, talking about raising this antenna, and I've seen one of the pictures in a club presentation, we have 1,000 foot spool of rope in the repeater room. It's still there. And it's, somebody has to carry one end up there and then run it back down. You have to tie the antenna to it and guide it up. So You don't want that thing slamming into AT&T or City of Bartlett's antennas. So there's a ground crew that we'll need to. I think y'all had a pretty, like, 4 or 5 people.
The videos know that tower folks did it.
Tower folks did it? Okay,
They used a four-wheeler on some of it
really?
to get the antenna up there.
Yeah.
The
Dan, I have
500.
So,
Go ahead, Alan.
I just, so one more thing that I guess a piece of advice or just a suggestion, which it looks like, were you trying to maybe use one of the, I'm assuming the old 8.2 run, is that the inch and 5/8 that you're talking about?
Yes.
Trying to put the 5.7 on? Okay.
Yeah, we were pondering putting
Okay, so
the,
my suggestion would be, you buy 2 antennas, split your transmit and your receive, keep the duplexers, you're gonna get more separation there. Put your receive at the 700 foot, transmit at 500. Just a suggestion.
Yes.
It would be really good. You're gonna have so much more separation. It's gonna be cleaner. The second thing is, if you ever lost a 2-meter antenna, you have a backup. You can marry the duplexers back together. I don't know if it would solve the problem. It's nice to run a repeater with encode and decode tones, but with 2-meter having a 600 kilohertz offset and having an AM 600 station, it's hard to run a tone on the output. We've seen it work sometimes having a different transmit receiving too. But just a suggestion.
Can
Yes.
you try that on the 2 antennas you already have?
I've got a problem with one of the antennas. The antenna that has the bad SWR, I can't even receive anything with it when you,
It's like a dead short.
not to jump in, but to jump in. We've got some sort of problem at the top. We don't know what it is, okay? So the net of all of this discussion boils down to the conversation to net it down. I'll boil it down. We've got to climb the tower.
Yep.
Got to climb the tower. There's no other, we've done everything on the ground that we can do on the ground. We're out of options. We got to go up.
Yep.
So going up is a given. So if we go up, we've got to be prepared when we go up to either have all new antennas, all new connectors, and all the parts of accoutrement that we need when we get to the top to fix it and be prepared for that so that we're not having to go up and down the tower at $3,000 or more a tower climb. So the delay that may be perceived is, wait a minute, there's a bunch of stuff that we really need to line up and make sure that we have the right information and are ready for. Because when we go up, we want to be prepared to fix it. And that means, okay, we've appropriated and purchased antennas. We've appropriated and purchased coax connectors. We've confirmed with the tower climbers that, hey, I can put 3 new antennas up and terminate 3 pieces of coax in a day. All of that's doable. Because here's the other thing. When we climb the antenna and we start hauling 3 antennas up, we got to dodge all the cell phone antennas at the bottom of the tower. That's going to take extra time. So we don't even know if the tower company can do that in a day. So that's back to Dan's point of, hey, we need all of the things that we want to do. How much of this can you do? Okay? Will you give us a break if we do a 2-day climb? Is it effectively the double, or is it, hey, do I get a break because you're already here and it's just another a climb? We don't know. There's a few things that we don't know of because we've got to ask a tower climber. That right now, in my vision of what we're seeing, just to convey it, the biggest unknown that we have is we don't have a good tower climbing contact yet. We've got fevers out to a bunch, but none of them have gotten back to us, and we're working hard on that, but that's the biggest unknown that we have. When we get that solidified, a lot of this other stuff just turns into a, how much do we want to spend conversation.
Yeah.
So the question is, and come back to the club, how much do we want to spend? Because that's what it's gonna come down to. When we decide to climb, okay, there's the cost to climb, and then what are the parts we're taking up? And that's the barrier, and that's the answer to what the board is gonna ask you as the membership, how much do you want to spend? And what we're trying to do right now is to come back to you and give you an idea of what that's going to be. Because we've got a few too many variables right now to answer all that. We know the antenna price. Alan's given us some great feedback on that. We know the coax connectors, they're about $200 a connector. So that's not the horrible part of the story. The unknown is how much does it cost to go up, and we're trying to get some answers on that.
Yeah.
Well, the deal on using the two antennas, I heard an amen from Billy over here, and he's the closest person I know to being an expert on antennas.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime you go talk to the experts out in the field, anytime you can separate your receive and transmit antennas, you're going to get better quality signals and better quality repeater work. Now, the thing that I would ask us to, and as a counterpoint to that, as a balance point to that, is that means we've consumed all of our coax going up the tower. We have no spare coax, but all that really means is, okay, if we lose the receive or we lose the transmit, you reconfigure at the bottom to go back into a single antenna configuration, which is very doable. The other downside to that, though, is it doesn't get the UHF machine onto bigger coax, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. The UHF machine has an amp, so we're overcoming some of that coax loss using an amplifier. That doesn't help the receive, but it does help the transmit.
And we may be able to get another site for DMR. Another site and an antenna may be way cheaper than trying to do another climb, or I don't know.
But so the action plan, the action plan that we really want to take forward is there's two things that I see, and we'll put it forward. We've got to come back to the membership and give you some harder numbers. We collective board, Dan, wanted to give you where we are, what we see, and this is how we are approaching it, positional understanding, and then we've got to come back with harder numbers. We've got to get you the numbers so that we can ask the membership to make a decision. Because I can't open and sit here rightfully and say, hey, we want you to spend an unknown amount of money to fix it. You want it fixed, we all want it fixed, but fiduciarily, we've got to say, responsibly, this is the number it's going to take. Now, we know for a fact that number is going to be 5 digits. It's going to have 5 digits in it. There's no way around it. Okay?
But this is the anchor, this system, that A2 repeater is the anchor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Radio system.
We've
You're
been,
doing a great job
Yes.
right now. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.
we've been,
Yes.
I'm loving this conversation.
we've been challenged with the A2 repeater and the gremlins that live in it for a few years. It's time to definitively just put them back in the box.
Love it.
And the way that we have to definitively put them back in the box is we can't just kind of, oh, well, let's do this or let's do this. No, let's put together, here is the step-by-step action plan that we need. And right now, admittedly, we're a few steps short. We don't have all the answers right now to give to you. What we are committed to doing is getting all of those answers back to you. This is what we know right now and what we don't know. Right now, we're trying to get the unknowns back to you, and hopefully we'll get that back to you. We'll try by the next meeting, but I don't know yet.
Yeah.
But that's the challenge that we're working on, and that's what we're working through. So, knowns. Let me walk, and then I don't want to steal Dan's thunder or Alan's or Adam's thunder, but here's what we do know. We have got to climb the tower. That is unarguably got to happen. So there is a 4-digit cost associated with that. We don't know whether that's a $10,000 or a $2,000, but there's a cost associated with that. We know that we need at least one new antenna at the top. And if we're going to the top, we're dang sure going to take new coax connectors and new jumpers. So let's call it a $2,000 grab bag of stuff that has to go to the top of the tower. Just with those statements alone, we're at about $8 grand. Just like that. And that doesn't handle all the other things that we have to deal with, the other antennas or the other things that we would want to fix as we get up there. So what we're trying to do is get you the right numbers, the best numbers, so we can come back to you and say, okay, how do we want to handle this?
You're doing
You,
good.
the membership, tell us what to do.
You're doing great.
We just wanted to soften you up a little bit.
All right, Dan, I apologize.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I mean, what Joe is what Joe and I have been talking a lot on the phone, and just I think we talked about an hour and a half me driving back from Dayton, and yeah,
So, I'm sorry, I'm going to jump back in for just a second. So what I do want to say is, okay, you've heard us, you've given us time to put this together. What we're not going to do is keep putting this off.
Yeah.
We are aggressively working on this, and it's moving through,
It's not gonna
getting the
get any
steps
better.
done.
It's gonna get worse. It's not gonna get any better.
It's not going to get any
You're gonna be
better.
caught off guard, you need it, and not have it.
So, I mean, that's where we're at. Those are what we know and what we don't know. I'm sorry, Dan, but we are going to start aggressively trying to get this done so we can come back and say, okay, this is what it's going to take. What do we want to do?
yeah.
Thank you.
So
Dan, Adam, Alan,
I just had one more thing, guys. So, I think I've got my screen shared, you can see right now.
Yep.
So, a lot of times, like Tally will maybe not have something in the warehouse that are not bad on the UHF antenna. But keep in mind, so the DB224 that we need is a DB224 Echo. That's the 138 to 150. Pretty much that's hand band. So they have 8 of them at Kansas City. Not putting the rush or anything, but 4 or 5 years ago when I bought ours, they had to build it. It took about 3 months. So just, things can take a little bit of time. Just wanted y'all to kind of be aware of that. It kind of shocks me that Kansas City has 8 of them in stock. Usually they don't keep those in stock.
Good enough.
yep. So we're going to do some engineering and price. Get a climber, figure out what it's going to cost, what he can do, and then we're going to figure out all the final price quotes, and then come back to you and say, here it is. What's that? Oh, okay.
Adam was watching.
We have options for grants, but someone's got to write it.
I did look at the ARRL grant page, and it
Club grant,
explicitly does not cover maintenance.
club grant covers repairs.
Okay,
This is replacement.
okay. And like we saw with the Hamfest, even if it doesn't cover everything, if it covers half of it or some of it,
So-
it keeps us from draining the bucket dry.
all right, so if we've got a grant opportunity, that means who does grant writing for their day job? Anybody? Steve wrote the best grant for the Expo. But
I know you went down over there.
the point that I'll make with that is, if we're gonna write a grant, we need a team to put that together. And the sooner we get that done, the sooner we get an answer back, and what that helps us out. But to Alan's point also, we also know that if we're gonna need an antenna and they're in stock, that is something that we can address. But I don't wanna put the cart in front of the horse either,
Yeah,
okay? So if we're gonna write a grant, the board's here to help, but we'll gladly accept help from our membership. If it's something you're good at and you've done a bunch, let us know. Because you know what? We can sit down one weeknight or a weekend, knock it out and get it turned in. We got a pretty good relationship with our ARRL team. Let's leverage it.
Tyler? You write grants?
I haven't written them.
Yeah. What I said.
All right, maybe.
You've read one, you got more experience than the rest of us.
yeah. If we only had an Army captain firefighter in our group that wrote grants before.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're on that.
All right,
pretty
you got
good,
me there.
Tyler. All right,
That's,
so, go ahead.
If you want the pictures of the 500-foot level, Rick said he put them on a stick for you.
okay.
He's got them all.
I can,
I just have a few of them.
I'll do it one better. I'll send you a link for a Google Drive share, and you can just dump it right on the Google Drive. Fair enough?
You do Google?
You got really quick ones, don't they?
Yep.
Easy. All right, I know that we want some action plans out of this, that we want to try to have something that we can do, and how we want to accomplish this. The activity and the guidance that I would ask the membership is, I know that we've got things that we need to do and you expect us to do. I don't know that we have everything ready tonight to be able to put anything in front of the membership and ask you to do something. What I would ask you is, come back to us next month and let's try to get a lot of these answers answered, because next month I want to come back to you and have, this is the budget. How much do you want to fund? I'd like to be able to have that for you next month. Now, if you want to help us out, the Signal report has a field on the bottom where you can put free-form text. Let us know, because that's a great way that we can hear from you about how you can help or what you would be willing to do. Okay? Does that seem to be a workable solution to walk out of here with an action plan and come back next month with, okay, here's monies, here's tasks, we've had contact with the tower companies, here's what we know, here's what we think we need to ask for.
Absolutely.
Seeing lots of shaking heads, anybody not think that's a good plan? All right.
I was kind of out of ham radio for a while, and I kind of followed along. I went through all the presentations and all the videos and the minutes to see what Barry and team had went through, and I understand the struggles they had and the pressure and the, you gotta fix it now, that was put upon them. And
During COVID.
during COVID, and we're taking a little bit longer time to do some more measurements, not panic, and then but we're gonna fix it. I just, at some point this thing had to have worked. I just,
Beautiful. So, I'll sum it up this way.
Yep.
The 8.2 is indeed our flagship,
Absolutely.
and we need to bring it back to flagship status. But it is a different game for the 8.2 than it is for the Methodist North, where I can go up on top of the building and put a $150 antenna up and not risk my life or anyone else's life doing it. It is a far different game at 700 feet when you make a mistake and it's $1,500 that hits the ground, or a person that loses their life. So all I would say with that is give us just a little bit of patience, and we're going to get you all the details.
yep,
Good job.
thank you.
Well, I can't take any credit for this. This has been a Dan, Alan, Adam show, but
Michael,
we're going to come back and we'll have a plan next month. Come back and visit us, come back and see us, because I'll need your opinion. I want to know what you, the membership, want us as the board to do, and how much you're going to want to help us fund this, because I'm going to just be straight honest with you. I'm going to have to ask you to come out of your pocketbooks for this, okay? At least for some of this, okay? Because it's not going to be a gargantuan number in the grand scheme of things. It's not going to be millions, but it's going to be a big number for this club.
yep.
All right. Final questions? Alan, final comments?
I'm good, appreciate y'all's time, thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Alan.
Thanks, Alan.
Appreciate your time, Alan.
Tell Michael thanks when you see him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Unless the membership has any final questions or any further announcements, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Yes, Don? Motion made by Don and seconded by Joe. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right.
Vote with your feet.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you greatly. Thank you for the off-cycle week.